Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me here. Thank you for being here. My name is Alec Johnson. I'm a music therapist. I come from Big Bear, California. Grew up in the mountains, and now I went to school at Berklee College of Music in Boston and in Spain. And now I'm in San Diego, practicing music therapist. Most of my clients I work with are on the spectrum, autism spectrum. So most of what we do is help them to learn how to communicate or how to focus their attention, develop their executive functioning, other aspects of cognition, learning how to socially interact with people, improving their sensory motor abilities. Each person with autism is very different, so what we do is very individualized with them. I also work with people with Down syndrome, other developmental disabilities, brain injury. If someone, say, had a stroke and they can't speak after the stroke, one thing that we can do is help them to learn to speak again through a music therapy technique that essentially helps them to rewire their brain so that they can learn how to speak again, get those connections in their brain so that they can speak again. There are many applications in music therapy. Music therapy is just like any other therapy, learning how, the practice of helping us to live a well life, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. So in the case of communication, sensory motor, cognitive abilities, and then also in mental wellness, learning how to create thoughts that empower us and thought patterns that are conducive to a life of wellness and fulfillment. Learning how to have more fulfilling relationships with other people. It's also a great tool for meditation, and a big picture definition of music therapy is a great way to tune the body and the mind, essentially. So what I'd like to do today is explore a bunch of different things, little games, exercises that I do with clients in mental health, in meditation, spiritual practice, things like that. So I'd like to start with a little meditation. It's a sensory awareness meditation. I love this practice because sensory awareness, I believe, is foundational to other things that we work on in our life. I think that learning simply the practice of being aware of our senses can help us to be more in tune with ourselves and our body, and our surroundings, our environments. And so I'd like to invite you to sit with me in a sensory meditation. So let's start with the touch sense, feeling in our body and our skin. Take a deep breath in and out. Deep breath from the belly. Hold it for a moment and slowly out. One more. Nice breaths. Slowly out. Start first by just watching the self. Anything that sticks out to you. Thoughts that come by. They come by when you say hello. Continue to breathe in whatever way you wish. Deep breaths. Now we'll go into the touch sense. We'll start with the body scan. So imagine that your attention is a spotlight. Wherever your attention goes, the light follows. So let's start at the feet. The light shine on the feet, simply feeling. And if you have thoughts going through, that's totally okay. Simply being aware and focusing the spotlight of our attention on the feet. Now the light on the feet remains. Let's expand it. Up the ankles, up to the knees, up to the hips. Belly, the sides, the back, up the chest, feeling the heart, to the shoulders, down the elbows and the fingertips, up the neck through the top of the head. Entire body is filled with this beautiful light. We are simply present with all the sensations, positive, negative, neutral. Another deep breath. Now I'd like you to focus on the tip of your right index finger. Again, simply feeling it. Notice that as you place your attention on it, you can feel it more. Of course, if it is touching something, you can feel it. But even if it is not touching something, you can feel it. Simply feeling. Now let that spotlight expand down the finger. The other fingers and the entire hands. Simply feeling. This is what it's called inhabiting the body. Keep that spotlight on your hands. Let's go to the left foot. Start with the tip of the toe. And expanding just as we did with the hand. So now our spotlight is on the right hand and the left foot. Next, let's go to the left elbow. Again, simply feeling. About the right shoulder blade. So now we have these 4 spots in the body. 4 different spotlights. Directing our attention. I'd like you to find a place in your body that feels good. And just sit there, enjoy that feeling. And in a moment, we're going to come back. I'd like you to take your time. Fingers and toes. Come back when you're ready. You're feeling. Yeah? I'd love to hear your experience in that, if you wish to share. I would love to hear your experience if you wish to share.
For me, it's just very freeing. It's allowing me to sort of have a background in movement therapy.
Okay.
So I was watching, observing what you were doing, and I love the idea of moving up through the body and just feeling the peace with everything, sort of checking in and then checking out. It was amazing. Thank you.
Beautiful. My pleasure. Thank you. Anyone else? Mm. That's awesome, man. Yeah, it's cool how you can go from a very fine point to a large point in your attention. You could also split it in different parts. Consciously directing your attention is a cool practice. Yeah, what's up?
Is there a reason that you chose specific, right hand, left foot, elbow, foot, that kind of thing?
Not really. I was just kind of going with whatever felt right in the moment. I typically do that with various parts of the body.
And do you do this with children on the spectrum?
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, the session plans that I write for children on the spectrum, I work with people from 4 years old to 65, huge range, and also all over the spectrum. So some of them, I do this practice with like some type of meditations or also tailoring it. It's always very individualized what we do. My pleasure. How about you? You have anything to share?
Very similar to what you guys are saying. It was very interesting that it felt very easy, but at the same time, you're kind of going back to the focus points.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting you chose those points because it is split, right? Yeah, on the right hand side and the left hand side.
Yeah.
So interesting experience for sure. Ease but focus.
Awesome. Yeah, that's cool. Beautiful. Well, thank you. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Awesome. I appreciate that. So, how do you feel about vocalizing or singing?
How do you feel about like actually vocalizing?
Mm-hmm. Are you comfortable vocalizing and singing? Yeah.
The woman with
Awesome.
the great voice is actually the one speaking out.
I just like literally make noise.
You make any noise you want. Yeah, so one practice I love to do as well is a vocal improvisation. And so, chanting or just toning or singing, whatever, really anything can go. I love this because when we are singing together, it's like a conversation that we're having. And as we're listening to each other and engaging and going with each other, and then maybe suggesting something, and then they go with it, and they suggest something, we go with it. It's like a little dance that we go on, same way we have a conversation. And so it's really cool too, because when we really get in the flow of the music, it's as if we are integrated as one individual, simply because we're listening and going with each other. And really amazing things can happen. It can sound like a song that was pre-written and pre-rehearsed, but it wasn't. It's completely improvised because we're listening and we are engaged and integrated with one another. Want to try it with me? Cool. We'll start simple. So I'll just start toning. Feel free to start and jump in whenever you wish, yeah? Cool. can experiment with making the resonance in different parts of your body. In your chest, throat, nose. Anyone like to suggest a chant? Oh, what is a Satnam? Hmm. Nice. I love your deep voice. Yeah, let's do it, dude. Please lead us. Beautiful. I'd like to try one more thing. Experimenting with harmonization. Do any of you have experience with harmonizing singing? Good. So what I'd like to do is play a single tone, and I would like you just to choose any tone, preferably a different tone, and just experiment with that. You'll notice that with each tone there's an interval. And with each interval there's a certain, each tone has a certain frequency. And as the tones are playing together, the frequencies interact with each other in various ways. So there are some that are so-called consonants or harmonize with each other, like so fifth, these sound waves match each other very well. Or the third, you got a very common one that match each other or complement. They're very different, but they complement each other very well. And there's this one as well. This one is typically the most dissonant. And what's interesting is that it might sound harsh on the ear at first, but if you give it a chance, continue to stay present with it, even with a seemingly dissonant sound, you can find harmony still. You can find that there's very particular frequency or energy with this combination of notes. So I like to experiment with just making different intervals, different tones. That cool? All right, let's do it. So I'll make a tone, and then please choose whatever tone you wish, whatever feels right to you. You can stay on that one. You can change whatever you wish to do, whatever feels right. Feel free to experiment. Try a bunch of different tones. Beautiful. How was that? Anything to share?
You would very slightly change your tone, and I would see it repelling. The group's tone would just very slightly go up or down, and it would be like blue, like we're here now. And a whole different color or direction or frequency here.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's like a picture. It's like a painting, a blend of sounds, just like how we blend colors. It creates a certain picture. And what we're doing is we're playing with each other. We're co-creating a painting, but it's a sound painting. And that's awesome, experimenting with the tones, creating different pictures, noticing how it feels in our body, how it resonates in our body, what pictures come up in our mind is a really cool practice. Awesome. Thank you all. Yeah, my pleasure. Any questions? Comments? Yeah, sure. Please.
I'm more curious from the application of how do you do things like this with children as well? Just the idea of helping children in on the spectrum with access and being able to relate that way, to me, is just fascinating.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes, of course, it's a spectrum. It's very heterogeneous condition. So like I said, everyone is so different. Sometimes people on the spectrum have difficulty with communicating. They're completely capable of understanding, and they would like to communicate, but they have a difficult time actually making that connection verbally and gesturally. So what I find is that music can be that bridge that kind of circumvents the verbal engagement, and it can be a bridge for engagement with another person, coordination with another person. That's a thing that we work on a lot, especially with younger children, is what we call joint attention. Learning how to coordinate with another person, learning how to shift your eye gaze from an object or an activity to a person, learning how to read a person, learning how to engage in interactive play, turn-taking. It's funny, these things are things I didn't really think about before I got into the work because it seemed, so I took it for granted. Yeah, but there are some people who have difficulty with that, and so part of what we do in music therapy is helping them to cultivate those skills in social interaction and joint attention. So simply doing something like that, toning or singing, can help to make that connection, and also can open the door to verbal engagement as well, or verbal interaction. Because again, they might understand language and they might be capable. Just making that brain to mouth connection can be difficult for some. So that can be that gateway to helping them to communicate.
Do you see music as something that sort of tonifies the proprioceptive system so it allows them to relax and then express?
Absolutely.
Relate internally?
Mm-hmm.
What we're doing?
Yeah, that's a great question. A lot of what we do too is regulation. Another thing I took for granted. Say if we get stressed or if we get overstimulated, we have our natural ways that we regulate ourselves. And of course, the nervous system can get excited and the nervous system can get relaxed. And we typically can do it. If you get stressed, you take a breath, you're like, okay, I got it. Some people, and sometimes we help them to learn those very basic coping skills. And what I find is that before you work on something like communication or cognition, it's important to make sure that the system is regulated. And so what we do is help them to regulate themselves in various ways. We have a technique called ISO, which means same. So basically what we do is whatever state they're in, we match that state in energy with the music. So you're matching it, and then now you are integrated, and then you gradually modulate it into a desired state. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. And that's the cool thing. Actually, it gives me chills thinking about it. It's so cool because if someone is very overstimulated and they need help calming down, you don't start with. You can start with the calm music. It's not always a strict. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Typically, we match them in that energy with the music, and just something like a driving beat or using timbre in the tone, and like we were talking about the colors of the sound, to match that energy and then gradually modulate it. By gradually modulating the music, we're gradually modulating the nervous system. Yeah, and it's really cool.
Just one last question. Do you
Sure.
work with trauma as well? Do you work with trauma patients, people that have had, whatever?
Yeah, some of my clients have had trauma. And yeah, I find that this practice that I was just explaining can be really good for that. There's one client who he's fairly high on the spectrum, and he had some trauma at a living home that he was at, and so a lot of the things, we're working on communication, cognition, all these things, but first we had to address that trauma and that state of regulation before we could work on those other things, you know. If the nervous system is not regulated, then our cognitive functions can't function optimally, and we can't communicate optimally, we can't engage or coordinate with another person as effectively as we could. I love your questions. What is your name?
Diana.
Diana, pleasure to meet you. I'm Alec.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Please, I'm always happy to chat.
Do you do this in other studios like this? You do? Okay.
Yes, yeah. Right now I'm in San Diego, so I work with a nonprofit studio. It's like a recording studio, and they hold workshops and classes. I do all types of things. Meditation like this, a practice for a protocol for learning more efficiently, which essentially involves learning how to modulate your nervous system in the process of learning, how to get your nervous system stimulated enough so that you can, have enough energy to focus, and then getting your body in the rest state so that you can integrate and consolidate what you learned.
So really this would be great for public schools.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right now I'm actually talking to some groups that work in private education systems, because there are a lot of people who create programs. So talking about how we can integrate these practices that I just mentioned and these protocols and all these games and activities that we were just doing and music therapy into the private education.
That would be engaging.
Yeah. Yeah, music is a great way to build a robust nervous system. By music education, simply by practicing music and training in music, you are tuning your brain and your cognition, your attention, all these different things, your sensory motor abilities. And again, your ability to listen and to engage with another person. And then also, aside from music education, just from engaging in music therapy, there are a lot of benefits to that too. So I'm really excited to explore that.
So vibration, if you started in pre-K and you taught children how to do this, they would become healthier adults and be able to access more.
Incredible.
Abundance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's awesome. What a great job you have. Not a job.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, I've always been interested in it. It's never been a question ever since I was very young. My pleasure. Thank you for your questions. I really appreciate that. That's awesome. Thank you, everyone.